Grizzlies trade talks are escalating. One writer revealing a wild move that would send the Memphis Grizzlies fans in a frenzy. We'll go over all that in just a moment, as well as Desmond Bane clearing the air on the city of Memphis, as well as his own rebuttal for Stephen A. Smith's controversial comments from earlier this week. We'll get to all that in just a moment, but what's going on, you guys? Jared Alatorre here for Grizzlies Digest, getting you through the end of the week. Most of you already on the weekend right now. That's great. You made it again. So glad to see you here for another episode. And we've had a lot of engagement this week, and I appreciate all of you, whether you're just tuning in for the first time or whether you've been tuning in for weeks now. But we need you to smash that subscribe button so we can get these uploads out to you as fast as possible. A lot of content coming. Pretty much, like I said, at the beginning of the week, at the beginning of Sunday, whenever that Bane trade happened, a lot going on. You have to smash the subscribe button down below so you never, ever miss another upload from us. And getting into the content, which is the Memphis Grizzlies are predicted to receive multiple young players in this three-team trade proposal. And that has to do with the Memphis Grizzlies, the Brooklyn Nets, and the Golden State Warriors. So what could that possibly mean? So a lot of young guys involved in this proposal. We'll take a look at it in just a moment, but a lot of you have been talking about Santi Aldama, and a lot of you are frustrated with his defensive liability at times, which I understand, but you talk about Santi Aldama on the offensive side, who can stretch the floor. He can shoot at a pretty high clip, especially from the perimeter. I also think he's an underrated slasher, and he's gotten a lot better, not to say that this is some kind of skill necessarily, but I think he's gotten a lot more confident driving inside and dunking the basketball. And sometimes you kind of need those extra hustle plays. Sometimes that's the most momentum play in basketball, where you can get a jam and expect something to go well for you on the other end of the floor. So again, Santi Aldama, if this was the last season for him, I think he will be missed. But this is one trade proposal. This is from Jeremy Kruger of the Sporting News. He says that the Grizzlies will receive Dariq Whitehead, Keon Johnson, and a 2026 first-round pick swap via Golden State. The Brooklyn Nets would receive Moses Moody, the young kid out of the University of Arkansas, who's been playing around 4 seasons now in the NBA. And the trade could also be of value for the Grizzlies. That's what Jeremy says. While Aldama averaged 12.5 points, 6.4 rebounds, and 2.9 assists last season, Aldama would be a liability on the defensive end. After the Desmond Bane trade, the Grizzlies could be looking to build a stronger, more athletic defense without players like Aldama. Additionally, Aldama is a restricted free agent this summer. That means they are at risk of losing him to a big offer to another team, and that's what this whole sign and trade thing would be. It would be Santi Aldama to the Golden State Warriors, but we're going to explain why in just a moment. One writer for Warriors fan side, Peter O'Keefe, explains why it's actually a great move for at least the Golden State Warriors, but is it a great move for Memphis? And we'll talk more about that as we go along here with the video. But if Aldama is already out the door and they want to recoup some value, this could be a perfect trade. Keon Johnson, a 22-year-old who's had career highs across the board for the Nets last season, and he was around 56, 57, around there games started, played at around 79 games this season for Brooklyn, averaged just over 10 points a game, had his best season by far in the NBA, around 6'5", guard who focuses on a lot of defense but is also getting more confident with his mid-range shot. And he could pick up some of the ball handling duties that Bane left behind. The Grizzlies also have an amazing track record of developing young athletic guards just like Keon Johnson. For Dariq Whitehead in the first-round pick swap, they're, just more extra pieces, but they say why not? If Aldama's going to leave or his contract gets too expensive, this could be a great trade idea for Memphis. So if you're thinking about Aldama being that defensive liability, I understand the argument for that, as I've seen a lot in the comments section, y'all saying that he is a defensive liability. I get that. But what you are going to miss is his ability to stretch the floor, make shots. And again, I think he's an underrated slasher across the board. But Keon Johnson, he's not a defensive liability at all. He's not a defensive-minded guard, but back in his younger days, that's what he focused on. That was the way he got minutes. He was a athletic defensive guard with some good length to him who could make shots occasionally. But now he's making shots at a pretty nice clip. We'll take a look at some of those highlights right now as Keon Johnson. Now, this was back whenever he was with the G League a few years back. But, again, you see his confidence out here going to the bucket. Or he goes off a screen right there, trying to create his mid-range shot, or long two-point shot, I should say. But, again, nice first step there, creating a shot, two guys, two hands on him. And I just think that he is someone who is kind of on the outskirts of being a guy like Desmond Bane. Of course, he's still got a lot more to go, but you see kind of the flashes in him. I think he's a great ball handling guard who can make his own shot. He's getting better at creating his own shot off the screen, but I think he's getting better just overall as a player. And like I said, he had his best season overall as a Brooklyn Net. When I woke up this morning and saw that trade offer that you just saw, as I'll pull it up to you right here again. But when I saw this offer this morning, I was thinking, I don't know about this. For Memphis' sake, I don't know about this. If you're the Warriors, you're like, okay, well, you kind of like it, right? For the Warriors, I'd say that this is something that could benefit them. But for the Grizzlies, I was thinking at first, no, this isn't going to work. Aldama is worth plenty more than this. But then when you do think of defense, when you think you want to be a quick team that scores a lot of offense, like Memphis did just this past season, it's not completely impossible to think about someone like Keon Johnson kind of slowly trickling in that same path as Desmond Bane once did. So, again, defensive liability, that's Santi Aldama. But for Keon Johnson, that's not Keon Johnson, but he's still got a long ways to go to step into what Desmond Bane left here in Memphis. Again, Peter O'Keefe, as I was talking to you about with the Warriors fan side page, he talks about while Moody has certainly shown more on the defensive side of the ball, perhaps this is the sort of defense for off-grants upgrade the Warriors need to consider after ranking 7th and 16th in the respective categories during the regular season. And they talk about Aldama. They say he's shown steady progression throughout his first 4 years in the league, taking noticeable jumps in the most statistical categories in each of his seasons to date. They talk about his numbers right there. While not a center by any means, Aldama's ability to create space on the floor at nearly 7 feet tall would make for an excellent front court position and provide Golden State a spot-up threat to play off of Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. And of course, Golden State, they went on a very hot run whenever they traded for Jimmy Butler back around the trade deadline. And that was, of course, a crazy trade deadline, as we know. But speaking of Desmond Bane, he talked a little bit about it. We're going to have a video at some point talking about the city of Memphis and Stephen A. Smith and the whole controversy of this week, because it was just nothing but lunacy from ESPN this week. But a little bit about Desmond Bane defending the city of Memphis. And he said this on the Young Man and the Three podcast. He says, in regards to the Stephen A. Smith stuff, he says, I think all that is just false. I think once you get to Memphis and you learn Memphis and you know Memphis, there's a lot of love in that city. Yeah, it's got its rough parts, but that's how every city is. That's life. It's never going to be peaches and cream everywhere you go, but it's a great place to live. That's what Desmond Bane said, and that was him replying to, responding to Stephen A. Smith's comments about Memphis being a high crime city, how it's the murder capital of the United States of America, which, by the way, is not true by any means. Memphis is not the murder capital of the United States of America, and I don't want to get too much into that because this is not a news podcast, this is not a crime podcast. This is a sports podcast where we have a lot of fun doing. But Stephen A. Smith ruffling up a lot of feathers in Memphis, Tennessee this week, and understandably so, Memphis fans defending their own city as Stephen A. Smith once again making controversy outside the sport that he should be covering, which is the NBA Finals. A historic one. Thunder or Pacers will win their first respective title. Very historic time right now in the NBA. But that'll do it for us right now. Jared Alatorre saying thank you for watching this video of Grizzlies Digest. If you did like this video, you can, of course, like this video, comment on this video, share this video, leave a comment down below what you think of the trade proposal. Also, just let it out. Your thoughts. It's been a long week. The Bane trade, the Stephen A. Smith stuff. We'll have, like I said, another video on specifically that later on, either tonight or tomorrow. But you also have a lot of these proposals that we've been getting out to you guys. Your thoughts on everything, just pour it all out here on the comment section down below. That's what it's for. Jared Alator saying so long. We'll see you in the next video, and peace. Thank you.